Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a piece of tech that might sound a bit niche, maybe a little technical at first glance, but it's actually surprisingly vital and really widespread, quietly doing its job behind the scenes in industries all over the world. We're talking about the salinometer. Its basic job,
Yeah.
measuring salinity essentially. How much salt is in a solution?
Right, the salt content.
Exactly. Now you might be thinking, okay, measuring salt,
Huh?
how exciting can that really be? But hang on. Think about it. This isn't just, for checking your soup. It's critical for keeping our oceans healthy, for ensuring quality in like food processing, beverage production, managing water treatment plants, even optimizing how we water crops in agriculture. It's surprisingly fundamental.
Absolutely foundational in many areas.
So our deep dive today is into the global salinometers market and all the info we're using. It comes straight from a really detailed market insights report. Got loads of specific revenue numbers, projections, the works.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive stuff.
And our mission here, well, it's not just about throwing numbers at you. We want to uncover the maybe surprising trends, the key growth spots, and just the overall global picture of this technology. Because it's crucial across so many sectors. Our goal is basically to give you a shortcut, a quick, solid understanding of this market without you having to read the whole report yourself.
Get you right up to speed.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Globally, this market, it's already pulling in quite a bit, well over $500 million a year. Back in 2021, the revenue was $668.9 million.
Right.
And it's not slowing down. It's actually set to grow past $1 billion by 2033. The projection is $1,229 million.
Wow, that's quite a climb.
It is. And that works out to a pretty consistent compound annual growth rate, the CAGR,
Yeah.
of 5.2%.
What's fascinating here, I think, is that these overall figures, they paint a really healthy picture, don't they? A steady 5.2% CAGR, over more than a decade. Going from around 2/3 of a billion to over $1.2 billion, that really shows how indispensable salinity measurement is becoming and how it's growing across different global industries.
Yeah.
It's definitely not just some niche tool anymore. It's foundational, and it's growing quietly because, well, it underpins so many critical processes.
So the big picture is strong, robust, you could say.
Yeah.
But, okay, where is this growth actually happening? And what does that tell us about, the wider global economy? This is where you start to see the really strategic insights, I think.
Exactly.
Seeing how different regions are shaping the market. I'm curious what patterns jump out here. This is where it gets really interesting. When you break it down by region, you see some, well, pretty diverse contributions. And the growth rates vary quite a bit across continents.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the regional breakdown really shows us where, say, new industrial growth is kicking off, or maybe where environmental concerns are pushing demand, or just where existing infrastructure is expanding.
Right.
It helps us understand those sort of underlying economic currents and, where investment is flowing globally.
Okay, so leading the charge back in 2021 was Asia Pacific. Big market share there. And it's set for strong growth, too, looking like it'll basically double its size by 2033.
Right.
The report says it's expanding at a 5.4% CAGR.
So slightly above the global average then?
Yeah, just a bit. Now, within Asia Pacific, China was the biggest market in terms of sheer size in 2021. But the place you really need to watch, India. The report calls its growth robust, and it shows the highest single country CAGR in the whole report. A really remarkable 6.5%.
Wow, 6.5%. That's significant.
It really is. And that's not just a number, right? It suggests, well, rapid acceleration in industrialization there, maybe infrastructure development too.
Exactly. India's explosive growth is it's a prime example of how a market like salinometers, which might seem niche, can actually be a clear indicator, an indicator of broader economic transformation, significant investment in that region.
Makes sense.
It points to things like rapidly expanding manufacturing, probably increased water treatment needs, maybe a booming food and beverage sector. It tells us something important about their trajectory.
And beyond those two giants, China and India, we also see pretty consistent, healthy growth from other established economies across Asia. You've got Japan, South Korea, Australia, all contributing steadily to the region's overall momentum.
Right.
And even emerging markets in Southeast Asia are showing, significant potential.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic region for this tech.
Definitely sounds like it.
Okay, so moving westwards, North America. It holds the number 2 spot, the second largest market, a really substantial contributor to the global numbers. It's projected to reach nearly $400 million by 2033. That's with a steady 5% CAGR, so right around the global average.
Okay. Solid growth.
Yeah. And the United States is, well, predictably, the largest contributor within North America. Provides a really solid base for that growth. But interestingly, it's Canada that's showing a particularly healthy pace of expansion, a strong 6% annual growth rate.
Huh, 6% for Canada. That is healthy.
Yeah, outpacing the U.S. slightly there.
North America's growth pattern is quite interesting, actually, because it seems to reflect both, ongoing industrial activity, but also perhaps increasing regulatory demands for more precise measurement.
Ah, okay, like environmental standards.
Could be. So while India's growth might be more about that new rapid expansion, North America's feels more like optimization, efficiency, maybe maintaining high standards in industries that are already quite mature.
That's a good distinction, different drivers.
Exactly.
Then there's Europe. It also maintains a significant market presence, expected to see consistent expansion over the next decade as well. Germany stands out with solid growth, 5.5% CAGR, and the UK is seeing a notably strong uplift, actually slightly higher at 5.7% CAGR.
Interesting. The UK is slightly ahead there, too.
Yeah, and we also see, well, varying growth across other European nations, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
There's a cluster identified as rest of Europe that's also showing robust expansion, around 6% CAGR, actually. Though some others are a bit slower, like Italy at 4.1%, France 4.5%, Spain 4.6%, Luxembourg's growing nicely at 5.2%, but from a smaller base.
Europe's market, I think, is really a testament to the continent's diverse industrial base. You see that strength where manufacturing remains strong, or perhaps where environmental regulations, maybe around water quality or industrial discharge, are getting stricter. That naturally drives demand for precise monitoring tools like salinometers.
Right, makes sense. Okay, quick snapshot then of South America. It reveals pretty consistent growth across key countries. Brazil and Argentina, for instance, both expanding at a steady pace around 5.1% CDR, and other nations in the region like Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're also contributing. It indicates a growing market, even if it's smaller overall compared to the others.
Still showing that consistent need.
Exactly. And finally, let's look at the Middle East and Africa. Now, their current market sizes are, comparatively smaller, but there are definitely areas showing significant projected growth. South Africa, for example. It's showing really strong growth, according to the report. A robust 6.3% CAGR.
Wow, another high one, higher than the global average again.
Yeah. Nigeria is also growing well, 5.9%, and Egypt and Turkey are both around 5.4%, so solid expansion in key spots.
That growth in parts of Africa and the Middle East, it likely signals investment in new infrastructure, industrial development, a bit like what we see in parts of Asia.
Right.
It suggests a push towards modernization, maybe in sectors like water management, which is obviously crucial in water-scarce regions, and also emerging industrial bases.
Okay, so let's try and pull all this together. What does this all mean when you look across all these regions? We can clearly see a global market that's not just growing, it's evolving, isn't it?
Definitely.
Asia-Pacific, especially with India's rate, is driving some of the fastest percentage growth, really showcases that rapid industrialization and expansion. Meanwhile, you've got the established markets, North America, Europe. They're continuing their steady, significant expansion, reflecting ongoing needs, modernization, maybe those regulations you mentioned. So these detailed figures, they aren't just abstract numbers. They really show us where global industry is putting its money, which markets are expanding fastest, and maybe where tech adoption is accelerating.
And this raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener. Even if you're not directly, involved in making or selling salinometers, understanding these sort of granular market dynamics gives you a clear picture of those bigger global economic shifts and where technology is being adopted.
Yeah, it's like a window into something larger.
Exactly. That robust growth in places like India or South Africa, for example, it tells us something broader about industrialization or infrastructure build-out in those regions. But, while the top-line growth numbers are strong, it's also worth thinking about the competitive side in these fast-growing markets. Is this growth leading to, more fragmentation with lots of players? Or are we seeing consolidation, maybe just a few key companies dominating? That would tell a different story about stability and investment opportunities.
That's a good point. The structure of the market itself.
Right. It just highlights how these seemingly specialized markets are actually deeply interconnected with larger economic trends, and they can signal where future innovation and investment might be heading.
So we've taken quite a journey there through the global salinometers market, from its, strong overall growth path. To the really surprising details in how different regions and countries are growing.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to unpack. We hope this deep dive has given you a richer, more informed perspective on this technology. It might be often overlooked, but it's clearly a critical piece across so many global industries. And as we've seen, quite a fascinating barometer for global economic shifts.
Definitely. And as you think about this consistent global growth and all these diverse regional drivers we've talked about, here's a final thought to maybe mull over. Given this steady growth in these different regional stories, where else? Where else might precise salinity measurement technology be increasingly applied in the coming years, beyond its traditional spots in marine and industrial sectors? Could it subtly impact completely new areas of innovation? Or maybe resource management? Something to think about.
Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're getting in something maybe a bit unexpected, but really important. The salinometer. These are precision instruments, right, for checking salt concentration. Sounds kind of niche.
It does, yeah.
But we're going to show you how critical they actually are across, well, loads of different areas, oceans, obviously, but even like the food on your plate.
It's quite surprising.
We've been digging into some great sources on this, looking at what's driving the market, what's holding it back, and the trends coming down the line.
And our goal, really, is to pull out the key stuff for you so you can quickly get a handle on what's moving this tech forward, what the challenges are, and, where it's headed, see its impact without getting lost in the weeds.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start with the drivers. What's giving the salinometer market a boost right now? What are those big forces?
Well, one of the really significant ones is the expansion in global maritime stuff. Shipping, naval operations.
Right, more ships on the water.
Exactly. And it's not just more ships. It's about needing precision. These aren't just optional gadgets anymore for commercial fleets or navies. They're essential for keeping engines running optimally, preventing costly corrosion.
Ah, so it's about efficiency and safety for all that global trade.
Precisely. Keeps things moving smoothly.
Makes sense for ships, but I imagine it goes beyond that. Are there other areas, maybe things closer to home for people?
Oh, absolutely. Another huge driver is water quality standards getting stricter,
Okay.
especially for things like desalination plants,
Uh-huh.
making seawater drinkable.
And regular water treatment, too.
Yes, exactly. Municipal water treatment. They have to ensure the water meets regulations, right?
Right.
And salinometers are key for that check. Super important with water scarcity being such a big issue globally.
Right. And you mentioned food earlier. That seems surprising.
Yeah. It's actually a growing area. The food and beverage industry uses them quite a bit. Think about standardizing salt levels in sauces, pickles, processed meats, stuff like that. It's all about quality control, getting that taste consistent every single time.
Huh. I never would have guessed. So ships, water, food. What about, like, environmental science, broader research?
Definitely seeing growth there, too. Environmental monitoring, academic research,
Yeah.
especially oceanography and hydrology, governments, universities, they're investing in these tools for climate change studies, tracking salinity shifts in the oceans, which affects currents, marine life.
So understand the big picture of our planet's water system.
Exactly. It feeds into that larger environmental analysis.
Okay, so clearly these devices are pretty vital, but nothing's perfect. What are the sticking points? What's holding the market back a bit?
Yeah, good question. There are definitely challenges. A big one, honestly, is cost,
The price tag.
especially for the really advanced digital ones. They offer great precision, lots of features, but that comes at a price. That can be a real hurdle for, say, smaller operators or labs.
Okay, so initial cost is one thing.
Yeah.
Any operational headaches?
Well, there's the maintenance and calibration. They need regular checks to stay accurate, particularly if they're in tough industrial settings. That adds to the running costs, And it might put some people off if they need something that just runs without much intervention for long periods.
Right, the ongoing effort and expense. What about just people knowing about them?
Yeah.
Or maybe other options?
Both are factors, yeah.
Oh.
Awareness is definitely limited in some areas. Think small-scale fish farming, maybe some types of farming in drier regions, places where salinity matters, but maybe they don't realize these tools exist or are affordable enough.
So missed opportunities there?
Could be. And then there's competition. You've got other ways to measure salinity.
Like what?
Things like conductivity meters. They measure how well water conducts electricity, which relates directly to salt content.
Oh.
Or refractometers, which measure how light bends in the water.
Ah, so alternative technologies.
Exactly. And sometimes these are built into bigger systems that measure lots of things at once, which can seem more convenient or cost-effective than a dedicated salinometer.
Okay, that paints a clear picture of the challenges. Now, this is where it often gets really interesting. What's coming next? What are the exciting trends shaping the future here?
Yeah, things are definitely moving. We're seeing a big shift towards um, portable digital salinometers,
Yeah.
handheld units,
Easier to use out in the field.
much easier, and often Bluetooth enabled now. So higher accuracy, simpler interfaces, and they can log data automatically in real time. Super useful for both fieldwork and in the lab.
Bluetooth. So connectivity is becoming a bigger deal. Are they linking up with other systems?
Totally. That's a huge trend.
Hmm.
Integrating salinometers with the Internet of Things, IoT, and remote monitoring platforms.
So you can see the data from anywhere.
Pretty much. Connect them to the cloud or to SCADA systems, those big industrial control networks. It allows for real-time data display. You can diagnose issues remotely, even predict when maintenance is needed. Big efficiency boost.
That sounds powerful. Are there specific industries really jumping on these new trends?
Aquaculture and fisheries are definitely showing strong growth, especially in places like Southeast Asia, Latin America,
Why there specifically?
because maintaining the perfect salinity level is just so critical for fish health and getting good yields. It directly impacts their food supply and economy.
Makes sense. And one last thing. Are we likely to see more of those combined instruments you mentioned, or will standalone salinometers stick around?
There's definitely a strong push towards those multi-parameter instruments, devices that measure salinity plus pH, temperature, dissolved oxygen, all in one go.
Kind of a Swiss Army knife for water testing.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
It offers efficiency, can be more cost-effective for industries that need all that data anyway, saves time, saves hassle.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? I think this deep dive really highlights how an instrument that sounds quite specialized, the salinometer, actually props up some huge global functions. We're talking global trade, making sure our food is safe and consistent, even understanding climate change and managing water resources. These little devices are quietly working away.
It really makes you think, doesn't it,
Yeah.
about these foundational tools, often completely invisible, but they're absolutely essential for supporting the complex systems we rely on every day and for tackling massive challenges like water scarcity. Maybe next time you encounter some complex piece of tech or infrastructure, just pause and wonder, what other hidden measurement tools are quietly making it all possible?